Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification to the right.
There are two types of people in this world: those who dream and those who create the life of their dreams. In today's video, we are going to talk about the inspirational story of Bruce Poon, founder of G.A.P Ventures. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell notification on the right. Bruce Poon is a self-reliant man, 6 feet tall and runner thin. Very few people know that there was a time when Bruce Poon escaped from a Burmese jail and crossed a 100-degree Mongolian desert on a brass-straddled horse. But that was not enough for him, as he was ready to jump into a new struggle of his life. Building G.A.P Ventures in Toronto was a much bigger adventure than anyone could think of. His urge for innovation took him to new heights and success. Let's start talking about his life story. Born in Port of Spain, Trinidad, to a Chinese father, Bruce moved to Calgary, Alberta with his family when he was 6. When other kids were playing and enjoying their childhood, Bruce subcontracted his newspaper routes to younger neighborhood kids at 12. Bruce always wanted to make a difference. His hard work won him his first award at the age of 14 for selling 10,000 weatherworm bookmarks on the counters of drugstores in Calgary, Alberta. Bruce's determination and aim of more than just a business led him to many struggling points in his life. Founding G.A.P Venture, formerly known as G.A.P Ventures in 1990, was the most difficult decision of his life. But there are no gains without pains, so the risk he took has certainly paid off. And with teary eyes, he had won Canada's Entrepreneur of the Year award twice. And this financial year, his company is on track to turn over $400 million. Let's talk a little bit more about his childhood. At the age of 12, Bruce raised prize-winning rabbits and hired out their stud services. At age 13, he wrote a book about caring for rabbits and sold to local pet shops. After working for others for a period of time, at the age of 16, he started 2 of his businesses and decided to work for himself. After high school, Bruce enrolled in a business school in Calgary. His passion was singing, so he became a lead singer in a band called Modern Exhibition. Fame and fortune in the field of music were in his dreams, but life took another turn and the band moved to Toronto. Alas, out of business or music, he had to select business because his dreams were too big. In 1989, he went on a trip to Thailand, and after returning, he came up with a decision to make his own company of youthful adventures. But it was very hard to bring people out of the culture of luxurious cruise ships and coach tours. People found fun in air-conditioned cruises, buses, and 5-star hotels. They didn't want to leave these deluxe tours, and Bruce wanted to break these obstacles and bring innovation to touring. He wanted to offer new cultural travel experiences that involved interactions with people and cultures. Thus, he planned to use local transportation and small guest houses. He wanted to maintain strict standards of conservation. In 1990, knowing that he was unable to secure a loan from financial institutes to start his business, he plunged impulsively into his dreams. His parents did not want him to waste money on a business that no one was aware of, but he did what he had to do. With only $800 and a couple of credit cards in his pocket, he maxed out the money to provide seed money to fund trips for the company. It was extremely hard for him, and he was left with nothing in his pocket, but to achieve his goal, he was ready to play this gamble. He did various training programs to learn different ideas. At the age of 22, he came up with a unique idea for an adventure traveling company. He founded G.A.P Adventures. Bruce Poon found out that there was a huge gap in the tourism industry for those seeking ordinary travel experiences. He wanted to connect global cultures through advanced tourism and knew that his dream of changing the perception of tourism will lead to greater global wealth. Now, you have to remember, in those times, there was no concept of the internet or email. People came to book these tours in person. It was very hard to inform people about the latest tourism vision he had in his mind. Bruce and his friends did a lot of research on guerrilla marketing to send his first group, which was a university student group, on a trip to the jungles of Ecuador, Belize, and the Galapagos Islands. People didn't understand his idea and found it useless. Yet somehow, he managed to send 6 customers on the voyage. This was the first step towards achievement. In 2004, the company purchased a small voyage ship, the Explorer, to offer tours in the Ark. The reason G.A.P Adventures grew exponentially was because Bruce never sat down and he was always busy teaching new ways of traveling innovations to his employees. His management style has paid off big time. He won numerous awards in 2002 and 2006. He won an Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year award and has been listed among Canada's top 40 under 40 entrepreneurs. But acting responsibly was not enough. Thus, he founded Plantera, which was a private non-profit foundation. In 2008, Bruce fired his entire HR department. He disliked the traditional HR methods and it was not fitting in terms of what he wanted in his business. He started 2 departments, which were the talent agency and the culture club. He aimed to develop a business model that should be wrapped around the business model of happiness. It was about ideation, innovation, and rethinking how you can get things done. His true entrepreneurship and courageous innovation drew the attention of the world towards his company. He wanted to make an organic environment, which meant that people who worked with him should feel that they are part of something greater, who would stay connected to each other and work to make a difference. He emphasized that his team should know that being an entrepreneur takes an unusual level of confidence. Now, Bruce Poon faced a lot of struggles as well. In 2008, the US-based clothing retailer G.A.P sued G.A.P Adventures over the use of the name. Bruce was heartbroken as this had happened unintentionally. In 2011, Bruce Poon re-announced the company's rebirth, rebranding G.A.P Adventures to G Adventures. Bruce has worked hard trying to keep his business together in the most challenging of circumstances. He was accused of being a dreamer, but he believed in himself. He believed that if he would have started Plantera earlier, it would have been difficult to define sustainable traveling to people because people were not aware of cultural immersion and sustainability. He wanted people to understand how other people live and how other cultures endured centuries of evolution just like us. With ongoing funding from G Adventures, 100% of public and corporate donations are put towards project development in the areas such as conservation, healthcare, and social enterprise. Bruce, at age 50, continues to grow G Adventures. He said, "I'm working harder than I ever had, but I know I have 10 good years left in me." He has got a list of destinations he wants to explore. He wants to travel to Russia with his family. His company focuses on travelers who want to experience marvels and phenomena and are ready for a new adventure. Bruce has recently celebrated his 30th anniversary of success in 2020 with 28 offices around the world with chief experience officers and 1,600 employees who lead the 750 journeys offered in 121 countries. Bruce's mother says that he brings out all my best qualities. We kind of complement each other. He's a great husband and a best friend. Bruce Poon has also struggled to bring change globally. He has worked hard to reach places that are beautiful, but they are unable to earn money. Bruce is the man behind the vision to put the village overlooking the sacred valley in Peru, about 1,300 kilometers east of Machu Picchu, on the tourist map. The native community developed a successful business while preserving their traditional way of life. 60 women work in the Women Weaving Co-op, which was established with help from G.A.P non-profit organizations in 2005. Bruce has addressed the United Nations and the World Bank, spoken to Apple and Google, and delivered keynote talks at TED events and business conferences globally. Learning about Bruce's life struggles and eagerness to change shows that there is nothing in the world that one cannot achieve. It's all about the will that helps you keep moving forward. At work, he is known as one of the most passionate and hardworking people out there. He is strong-willed and determined to make a change to people's lives in his lifetime. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Our channel focuses on inspirational and motivational stories that touch upon holistic health, meditation, and daily 1% improvement. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell notification on the right. Also, please check out Bruce Poon's book, Looptail, How One Company Changed the World by Reinventing Business, if you want to learn more about him and his company. The link is in the description below. What adventures will you have in the upcoming year? Drop a comment below and we'll be sure to address it in our next video. Until then, see you next time.